content for level 1 to 60, regardless of whether or not you buy the expansion. What you do get is access to the new starting areas. Obviously, you can't play Goblin or Worgen without the expansion, and then you also get access to level 80 to 85, which, as I was just explaining, is a little bit of a challenge because they're more spread out, right? It's 5 new zones, but there's not one place on the map that you can point to and say, there it is. So, without a doubt, that's a little bit more of a challenge to communicate. But I think at this point, our player population of high-level players, or level 80 players, have a pretty good understanding of what I do is I buy the expansion, that gets me new levels, which gets me access to new zones, and we'll do as much as we possibly can within the game to help direct players to where they're supposed to go. So that when they log in for the first time after Cataclysm, after they bought the box, they know, oh, okay, I get onto this boat to go to this zone, and that's where I start leveling up from 80 to 85.
We know that you're going to implement new talents before launching Cataclysm. Do you think that you're also going to add those new class combinations or stuff like archaeology before launching the game?
Yeah, the archaeology we're still deciding on whether or not that's going to happen before or when the game launches, but the race class combinations will be available right after the actual Cataclysm event happens. So we kind of felt like that'd be a lot of fun for players to, we have that world event that leads up to the Cataclysm, and then the Cataclysm happens, and they log in, and the world has changed, and there are all these new quests. What do you want to do? Level up! Something, right? And if you've been waiting, like, I've always wanted to be a dwarf mage, or whatever it is that you couldn't be before, it would feel terrible to have to wait those extra couple weeks of like, I can't play it, I can't play it yet, I can't play it yet. So we really wanted to help players out and make those combinations available, so as soon as that Cataclysm happens, you can go start questing through new content with one of the new combinations.
So the next question would be, you're bringing a lot, well, Alliance versus Horde War back to World of Warcraft. They are not really allied, like sitting in Dalaran or Shatra City.
Right.
So we're not going to see that stuff like Sanctuary united against one evil, right?
Well, I mean, in theory, they're both fighting against Deathwing, but we are very much trying to put the Horde and Alliance into conflict with each other. It is, as people have said many times, it is the World of Warcraft, and we want to make sure that there's a sense, not just in terms of like, yes, we PvP against each other in a battleground, but also just in terms of the world and the world lore and the quests and the general feel of the world. We want to make sure that it feels like the Alliance and the Horde don't like each other, and that they're clashing on a constant basis.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the number of new World of Warcraft subscribers has stagnated in the last few years. Is there an answer to that in this expansion?
I don't know. I don't know really how you define stagnation. Although I would say that World of Warcraft is continuing to grow. I do expect. I would think anytime we release an expansion, we do see an increase in subscribers. We also see an increase when we do commercials, stuff like that. I would expect that since part of the orientation of Cataclysm is toward new players and also players that used to play the game that might be willing to come back and try it again after having taken a break for a long time or whatever. I would imagine that there would be an increase in new subscribers. How much, I really couldn't predict.